The following is one of the biggest reasons those who teach a pre-tribulation rapture cite as evidence of the rapture occurring before the 7-year tribulation period even begins. The rapture of the church is an event that can take place at any moment without warning. There'll be no signs that precede it. No one knows when it will occur, and it will come unexpectedly. The word imminency means something is about to occur. It can happen at any moment without any warning. The doctrine of imminency says that Jesus may come at any moment, including before I finish my next sentence. He may come in the twinkling of an eye, and the church will vanish from the face of the earth. Many of those who hold to the pre-tribulation rapture position act as though this doctrine was created by God on the 8th day, and it was declared to be good and infallible. Yet, like all other doctrine, it's simply based on man's interpretation of Scripture. There are two main scriptural ideas that this doctrine is based on. The first is that no one knows the day or hour of Jesus' return. That's based on Scripture found in Matthew 24:36, where Jesus says, "But of that day and hour no one knows, not the angels of heaven, but only my Father." The Gospel of Mark, chapter 13, verse 32, further says that Jesus himself doesn't even know the day or hour of his return. After this statement is made in the book of Matthew, Scripture goes on to paint a picture that looks like life's going on as usual in the future when Jesus shows up. People are still working, sleeping, eating, drinking, and getting married, as if they're not expecting the second coming of Jesus. The second main reason that pre-tribulationists believe in an imminent rapture is because of the idea that Jesus is going to show up like a thief in the night. People will be saying that things seem peaceful and safe, and then suddenly, without warning, Jesus will return for his church and take them away. This idea comes from three main passages of Scripture, two of which are regarding the same story as found in two different Gospels. In both Matthew 24 and Luke 21, Jesus uses an illustration regarding his coming that conveys the idea of a thief breaking into someone's home unexpectedly. He follows this by warning everyone to be ready, because the Son of Man, which is Jesus, will come at a day and hour when you don't think he will. The second place the idea of Jesus returning as a thief is found is in 1 Thessalonians 5, where the Apostle Paul says that the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night. The Apostle Peter repeats this idea in 1 Peter 3:10. Jesus reconfirms the idea of coming as a thief yet again, twice in the book of Revelation. All of this seems like a pretty good scriptural case for imminency, if only these scriptures were not taken out of context or given additional meaning over what they actually say. First, Jesus is very specific each time he talks about no one having the ability to know the day or hour of his return. He says nothing about the month, year, or season. Right now, given my current understanding of Scripture, I would argue that no one can know the month, year, or season either, until the signs take place that Jesus, his apostles, and the prophets gave in Scripture that will precede his coming. We simply don't know when God will start those events in the future. But once those things do happen, we'll know that the second coming and the day of the Lord are about to occur. Until those signs take place, the rapture is not imminent. Then, once they do take place, the rapture is imminent. Although those who are watching and know the signs will know that they are in the season of Jesus' return, they still won't know the day or hour of his return. Jesus talks about foolish Pharisees that were able to predict the weather, but not discern the signs of the times. The same will be true for the unwatchful. Jesus uses the example of a fig tree, that when you see new shoots burst forth on a fig tree, you know that spring is near. Then he says the same goes for when you see these signs occur, you'll know that his return is near. Then, when Paul talks about coming as a thief in the night, people normally forget to read what comes next. Paul tells those he's writing, the believers in Thessalonica and us today, "But you, brothers, are not in darkness, that you should be overtaken by that day, like by a thief." Paul was clear that the children of God who know the signs and are watchful will not be overtaken by the day of the Lord and the return of Jesus. They'll be expecting him at any moment because they will have recognized the signs. To be clear, the whole thief in the night thing does not apply to watchful children of God. The people who will be surprised are those living in darkness, the unsaved, the lost, and those who are not watching for the signs which precede the second coming of Jesus. As for business going on as usual before Jesus returns, people will always need to eat, drink, sleep, provide food for the table, and they'll always fall in love in the middle of any situation. Pick your worst war or Holocaust in history, and this has always been true. It'll especially be true for the lost, the unsaved, who in the future are not suffering persecution under the Antichrist because they've aligned with the Antichrist. We don't know when in the future God will kick off the events that lead to the return of Jesus. However, not knowing the day or hour of Jesus' return means just that. It does not mean that one can't know anything less specific once the signs preceding the day of the Lord, given in the Bible, finally do occur. And it's only true that the day of the Lord will overtake those who are living in darkness, and not the children of light, who are being watchful for the Lord's return. The doctrine of imminency, as defined by pre-tribulational rapturists, is debunked.